Hi, Sparkles, and welcome back to Intuitive Wisdom. This is episode 221, and today's episode is our January Insights conversation with the wonderful Christina Slaback. January invites us into reflection, not only on the month we've just moved through, but on the year as a whole. And in this episode, Christina and I explore the theme of shedding what is old or no longer working, and how winter offers us an invitation to seek out the light, not just for brightness and cheer, but to illuminate what's ready to fall away. We reflect on 2025 as a deeply introspective year and share our excitement about stepping into 2026 with a more outward energy, one of expansion, happiness, and gently coming out of the shell. Christina also offers a card pull, and you truly won't want to miss that at the end, bringing intuitive insight and guidance for the season ahead. And we talk about the planners we love, yes, the physical ones, and we also share our personal annual review processes. This is grounding, inspirational conversation full of wisdom, reflection, and gentle momentum. I love these conversations, and I'm excited to share this one with you. Perfect way to start the new year. Here we go. Welcome to Intuitive Wisdom, a space where insight meets energy and intuition leads the way. I'm K. Margaret Solorio, author, Angel Reiki Master, biotech graduate, and a guide for those seeking alignment in their home and life. Whether you're navigating change, clearing emotional clutter, or simply craving clarity, Intuitive Wisdom invites you to slow down, tune in, and rise into your authentic self. New episodes weekly. Come home to your own knowing. All right, Sparkles, quick announcements before we get to today's episode. First up, have you tried my free quiz yet? It's called, Is Your Home Supporting Your Expansion? It only takes a few minutes, and you'll get some clear insight into how your space may be shaping your energy and where you can start to shift things. Go to deliciousease.com/quiz. And if your space feels heavy, stuck, or just a little off, or you're feeling some stuckness in other places like creativity, or you've just gone through a big life transition, my Home Frequency Reset is a remote, intuitive, energetic refresh designed to bring your home back into harmony with you. Perfect if you're craving that fresh start or deeper alignment with your vision. And my book, Make Ease Your Vibe, is available now on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle versions. It's packed with practical strategies for shifting your energy, your mindset, and your relationship with time. Helps you raise your daily frequency. Plus, you get access to exclusive chapter bonuses when you purchase your copy. Go to my website, deliciousease.com, click on book, and you can enter your information to get access to all that bonus content that goes with a chapter outline. So each chapter has bonus content. And last but not least, I am a teacher on Insight Timer. So if you're looking for a quick guided meditation to help you breathe, tune in, or take a break, be sure to check out my meditations on the free app Insight Timer. I upload new meditations regularly. All right, let's get to the episode. Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Also, it's been super packed, busy month. And it's definitely brought out some anxiety, and I can't tell if it's like old anxiety flushing out or new anxiety with like me trying to up level and not quite comfortable with that yet. So yeah, good, but very busy. How about you?
Yeah, I think similarly. I think there's something in the air right now in the energy that's shifting in the last few weeks. I feel like productive and like event wise, like it's just always going. But I think for me, and I don't know if this is similar to how you felt, but for me, these last couple of weeks, I have felt more of this like pause and like this recalibration happening. And I think that there is like some shedding, like you're talking about, of like up leveling and whatever. But like I spent a little bit of time just kind of like really introspectively and looking at some of the dynamics in some of my relationships, some of the things that I just feel like are kind of repeating and keep coming up for me, and found different things within there that it wasn't just the same like circle, circle, circle. It was like, oh, and just more understanding that I think is going to allow me to show up a little bit differently. That's given me a little bit more peace, but it felt heavy. Like I think it was maybe last week, but it just felt like I just felt kind of this heaviness and this movement, and I couldn't explain it. And I can't like say specifically what was going on. But it was just like this connection to some of these like self-limiting beliefs, or the way that I'm showing up, and like thinking that I'm showing up in a certain way, and then realizing, oh, actually, like the way that I have been showing up, I've been giving space for other people more than I've been giving space for myself. And how am I supposed to feel the way that I want to feel when I'm not giving that to me? And I feel like that's something that in a lot of my relationships is not usually a problem for me. Like I feel like I'm willing to take up space. I don't have an issue with boundaries. But in certain ways and in certain instances, there's just this nuance that I let come in. And then I just, without feeling like I was giving up myself, I was just giving more space to the other person or the other people. And so moving into that, and then just like realizing, oh, like, yeah, I need to show up consistently in all of my things, and just to not take on other people's emotions, not take on, I know that like we talk a lot about parenting, we talk a lot about relationships, but this has been coming up in like all these different areas for me. And like, oh, why am I hitting the same circle in my parenting and my things? And like, I keep hitting, I feel like we're just repeating the same patterns. I feel like I'm holding space, and it's like, oh, no. You're holding too much space. And actually this is when you just need to like, oh, nope. Okay. And then move out for a little bit and then come back and have that connection. I was like, I do that for everything else. Why am I in this one instance of things? Like, why am I not realizing that that's what I'm doing? So when you're talking about like that up leveling and whatever, I feel like I'm like in this process of like shedding some of these things that I didn't even realize were still there, and then being able to feel a little bit more lightness.
Oh,
Now,
amen.
coming to
That's
the end of the year.
beautiful for this time of year. Yeah, and I've actually had a couple people bring up in conversation the Chinese New Year and how we're moving from the year of the snake and that idea of shedding skin and moving on to, I think it's going to be the year of the horse. So that definitely resonated. But also I love the taking time to reflect. But you said something really powerful just before we pushed record about how it's all a circle. Like there's a lot of emphasis on reflecting at the end of the year and doing that timing and being ready and having everything set up and hitting the ground running, when in actuality, you know, just like Chinese New Year is a little after our current calendar New Year, that you could pick some not exact point. And I think I'm going to go with that because I've felt usually one of my favorite ways of reflecting and processing is journaling. And I haven't been journaling regularly, and it makes me sad, but I don't even feel inspired. Like I just feel like kind of in this block of everything. And so I look forward to the reflecting. I love like you said, the light that comes with taking a moment to step back and look and like, wait, what's here? And shedding some light on everything. So yeah, that's inspirational.
Yeah, and I think that is something that I have been kind of connecting with more and more the past few years too, is we record this a little bit early, so we just celebrated the solstice. And so I had a beautiful day of like solstice meditation with the community in the morning, and then we do our winter spiral at night. And taking that time and like bringing that light back, which is always such a big thing for me. But also the message that just keeps coming up, and I think we talked about it in our November ones too, was just this feeling of this is actually supposed to be the start of winter. Like this is the start of winter right now. And the start of our like hibernation, our resting, our like reflection, all of that inner work is supposed to just be starting now. And we hit January 1st. And in our culture, we're like, go, go, go. Like this is when we have to be pushing. And if we go back to like the natural cycles and the natural roots, like this is just the start. And it's actually supposed to be this reflective kind of pause time. And I think that there's a beauty in being able to, because I do love the new year and I love all the energy that comes and I feel like I get motivated for that. So I don't want to dampen that either, but coming at it from a more intentional, a more grounded, a more stable, and a more caretaking and kind of this slower entry into the year of giving myself that space to be able to just kind of move gently into this new year and bring with it more intentions rather than trying to like bulldoze and force and try to start all these things and rework all of my routines and all of my habits and all of my, like have everything ready. And I feel like that permission slip is what so many of us need. Like it is great. And I think that taking that new year and being able to be like, how can I nourish and connect to myself more? How can I reflect and like look at what I'm actually needing rather than these big audacious goals that maybe I think that I want to be doing in the next year and how I'm going to up level my whole life and me 2.0. How can I look at it and think of like, how can I set myself up and kind of consider this as like my reset and my grounding into the year to really set that stable foundation. So then when that energy sparks, when that newness comes, whenever that is, like you're saying, like the Chinese New Year, I know for human design, the new year doesn't start until like the Aries season. So like March and April.
Wow.
So like whenever it hits for you, when can you look at that and then be like, yeah, and I have set myself up, so I am ready to take advantage now because I haven't been pushing through when maybe I've needed a pause. And maybe, you hit the new year this year and you're like, yeah, I'm ready. Like January 1st, like, let's go. And that's great too, but really checking in with your own energy and feeling what that feels like.
Yeah. What are do you have any particular practices you do to reflect?
Yeah, so I do a new year kind of reflection process, and I have started some of that because I did want to kind of give myself that space. So there's some prompts that I have looked at and used, like what are the highlights of last year? What are the things that I want to take into the new year? What are the adjustments and like where I felt like I was just kind of spinning my wheels or where it just felt like the energy was a little bit off. And then looking at what adjustments and things I want to make. I do like to set some goals in terms of like what I would like to do. And I really have changed this from being very like outsourced things. So it's like, oh, I want to hit this number of revenue, or I want to hit this many followers, or, like all these things that I don't necessarily have control over, and moving it more towards systems based and like what I actually have, and what I have the action behind that I can do. So looking at the things that I want and how I want to feel and moving into what are the habits that I can nurture, what are the processes that I can do, what are the things that would feel really good to me in the next year that I can take actual action, and then looking at it from what I actually have control over rather than the outward measure, and just assuming that at that point, like the outward measure is kind of inconsequential or like less, because I'm coming at it from that more heart-centered. So I do a process with that and kind of looking at like that wheel of life or the compass, and seeing what areas I want to focus on for the next year. But this year I'm doing a little bit differently. Like I've changed the planner that I'm doing, and I'm doing a little bit more changing things up because I just haven't felt like I've been connecting with it. It's felt a little stagnant this past year. And so looking at those types of things and saying, okay, like I have been committed, like I've been all in on my planner stuff for the past few years, and I really still love a lot of the things in the system. And there's some things that just haven't been working for me. So
What system do you use? I have to ask.
yeah, so I used to use, I still will be using, but I'll use it with something else, is the Moxie Life system. And what I really like about it is it's a goal setting system. So they actually walk you through a whole process in the beginning, setting up your goals. You break it down by the month. They have monthly reflections and they have weekly actions. So every week you're looking back and like breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down. And it has all the life areas. So it's not like you're neglecting certain ones.
Yeah.
And you can do it as much as you want. Like you don't have to hit goals in every area, and a lot of times you don't. But just to have those nurturing habits, like okay, I know that I'm still maintaining my health, even as I'm doing these other things, or So I'm still going to be using that, but I just needed a different way to rework my actual like weekly layouts. Like it just wasn't working anymore. But I do really like being able to have that intentional foresight into it. And like, it does make me sit down at the end of the week and just like, okay, what went right, what went wrong, or at the end of the month and the year, and having those
Yeah, I like the
prompts, I think
monthly.
helps.
Yeah, that's great. I'm always
Yeah.
curious. I love calendars too. I use Planoly right now, and you can
Yeah.
customize it. And I have daily pages, and then there are note sections at the end of each month, and that's where I like do a monthly review and write out my list and kind of check in with myself. I bought a whole new journal just for the new year. No lines, so hopefully it will inspire doodling and writing. And I think this is generator quality, right? We respond. So I've collected like maybe 4 or 5 different annual reviews from people I follow and just like put all the questions together and plan on just spending the next couple of weeks just going through them, and hopefully I'll like allowing trying to hear myself before I jump into all of the infrastructure stuff, because I really love all the planning and the goals and the checking off the list thing. And then it kind of gets, I think for me, it gets a little too much about checking things off the list. And I forget to like, wait, where's the intention? Or like you were saying, like, how do I want to feel? Or that the other piece that I know is the becoming piece that is really important. So I'm looking forward to, just sitting down and answering too many questions and seeing what comes up.
Well, and seeing what resonates with you too, because even as I'm looking at,
Not everything
and
resonates.
it's so much just, it's so funny how things that worked before may not work now, or things that resonate with one person are going to resonate a little bit differently. And just the way that they, in the planner that I've been using, the way that they word the reflections, sometimes I'm like, I don't necessarily want the word highlights or wins for like the things that went well. I just want like milestones or things, because not everything I'm going to consider a highlight, but it can be important and it can be like something that affected all of the rest of the stuff. And I wouldn't consider it a challenge either. So like looking at it that way and
It's true. I used to have people who really despise the word goal that I worked. Yeah. So I was like,
and it
okay,
can be really
dream,
triggering for
star.
people.
It
Yes.
is. It is.
Intention. Yes.
Intention. Pick the word that's not triggering for you.
Yeah, and I just love like being able to do that and like go through and having space like you were talking about. Like in the one that I have right now, there's just the weekly space. And although I'd love to make like a weekly list of what I'm going to do, I want to be able to go in and like time block it better. So I want to have that, but I want to have those daily pages. I want to be able to write the notes that are and the things that are coming up. I want to be able to break it down into that. And the one that I have, it doesn't have that ability in there. So just noticing where I'm needing more space, where systems are, and it's all about like that. If you even go back to like atomic habits or anything, like reducing the friction, because I haven't been planning my weeks out in like time, whatever, because the structure is not working for me right now. So noticing that friction and not putting it on myself and being like, oh, I'm just not showing up for my planning. Like I'm still showing up for my setting my actions. I'm still doing my reflections, but this section is not working for me, and changing the environment and changing the friction points so that I can make these habits that I want to do easier for me.
Yeah, amen. I think in energy terms, we use the word resistance a lot more than friction, but it's the exact same thing. And sometimes it's really helpful to think about your life force as a current, whether it's an electrical current or a water current. But yeah, allowing that flow and that ease less by adding stuff in, but also taking stuff out and just recognizing that's come up a lot in conversations lately, back to basics in terms of, if you can't hear your intuition, it's hard to listen to it or follow it. So what can you do to get to a place where you care about how you feel? And then you're more in tune to those subtleties and can use them to your benefit.
Yeah, and I think that is so important too. I do think that when you jump right into making the goals, setting the things, doing the productive parts, I think sometimes what I used to do is I would do that as a bypass. So I would not have to think about my emotions. I would not have to think about
Oh,
my feelings. I would just do it. And just like, as long as I was checking things off, like I was good. And I think that that has been such an unlearning point for me. And being able to look at it and notice, I had something, I'm working on a collaboration with somebody, and we had talked about it, and I was so excited and I was amped up for it. And then I went to like create the thing for it, which is super not hard. And I just was finding myself stuck, and I was just putting it off, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And I realized after sitting with it and not forcing myself to do it, is that there were other parts of this community that we were with that were just triggering some things from like my younger self, that I was like, you know what? I haven't been in this long enough that I don't know enough. So to commit to doing this other thing that we want to do, as part of this, like all of that's really exciting, but I really need to sit with this. And I talked with her about it, and she's like, no, absolutely. Like that makes total sense. Like, let's just do this a little bit different and like restructure it. And it was such a beautiful thing to be able to have that space held for me to be able to be there. But also for me, like, normally I would have just pushed through. I would have done the thing. I would have sent it out. It would have been like, all right, it's fine. I'll just deal with it. It'll be great. Like, I got the thing done. We said we wanted to do this. I'm excited about this. Like, I'll just push through these other things. But being able to have this space of reflection that I've had over the past couple of weeks, and noticing where I am not honoring my own needs and not honoring my own feelings, and giving space for that, and saying like I am really still excited about what we want to do. I still want to do it. I just think that maybe we can look at it in a different way, and like these are the things that are coming up, and having her respond so lovely, and just be like, yeah, absolutely, like that makes sense. These things are also, I deal with the same things, like this is totally fine. And being able to have those where it's like you get to get back to that intuition, when your intuition is constantly being pushed down because you're just doing the next thing, you're just checking the next thing off the list, you're not as in touch with. And then like I wasn't noticing those nudges, but when I paused and just gave space for it, then it was like I understood the feelings behind it, can honor those. And I'm so excited to be able to move forward like without any of that extra ickiness that would have shown up in the way that we were doing our things if I wouldn't have dealt with it.
yeah, definitely. I think we all need that reminder, whether we're conditioned that way not to say anything, or, to feel bad about saying something, or it always is better. Nobody can guess what you're feeling. And there's often they want to, everybody wants to have a good experience. Yeah. So it's not as complicated as it seems. I'm curious if there's anything particular you're looking forward to in January or in the whole new year.
Yeah, I think this week has felt so much lighter for me, and I will say that too, like solstice, whatever. But just I feel like I am heading into this new year from just such a much more stable, like grounded, excited state. We have some events that are already planned. We have some trips that are already planned. We have things that I know that are in the works that I'm excited to like figure out and see how they wind up coming about. But I just feel so much sense of calm. Like I don't have a scattered energy this year, which I do sometimes, or like feeling like I'm behind, or like I have to have it all planned out. And I feel like all of this stuff in the past couple months, even as we've talked, like this past quarter has felt a little heavy for me, or had like ups and downs, very chaotic. And I think all of that was for getting me here to be able to like see, and I don't know what it is yet. And I think before the end of the year, I might have those like insights. I feel like they're coming. But I know that the things that I do have planned and that I do see coming up are I just feel like it's going to be a really big growth year. I feel like this year was kind of a year of introspection. It was a year of like tuning in. And I feel like this next year is just going to be a year of like that trust and that grounding and that like full embodiment of it. So I'm really excited for that.
Oh, that sounds so wonderful.
How about you? What are you excited for? What have you taken from this year?
Really big questions. I think I'm still, you might have to ask me again next month. I'm still in the midst of my reflections. But what's something that came up yesterday, actually, I went through this numerology workbook. I'm not familiar with numerology at all, minus what I read about yesterday. And so it was like the universal number for the year of 2026, and then my personal ones. And there are like two different ways you can calculate that, and you kind of compare notes to see which one fits. And the first one for me was all about creativity. And it was such a pleasure to read. I was like, wow, this is so light and airy and happy for me to imagine me being that person. I think leaning into me as a creator and not just as a hobby creator, you know? Like, I think I generally think of creativity as a hobby. I don't identify myself as a creative person, even though I really enjoy all of my creative ventures. So I think it would be really fun. And like I said, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around this year and where I am, but to step into that role as a creator and all, like, have that perspective in all areas of my life, because I think it's really easy. I was thinking about that this morning, actually, to forget, because we grow up, or I'll speak for myself, in such a world that so many things are like the infrastructure is created for you and you figure out how to fit yourself into that infrastructure. And that's like learning how to fit myself into the infrastructure was like such a safe strategy for so long. And now knowing like it's such a switch mindset to go, oh no, yes, I am the adult in my life. I really created a lot of this. I should take ownership of that and like either have fun with it, but like appreciate the value of that. And not just from a purely manifesting state, but from a way of being, you know, like understanding, oh, this moment, this experience, this opportunity, this effort, this, all these things that I'm having, I get to create that, or I get to be part of that, and coming at it from that kind of energy. I'm excited how that changes my world.
Oh, I think that's so powerful. And I think it's funny as you sit there and you're like, oh, I don't identify as a creative, but I write books and I produce podcasts and I do all this social media. Like, but I'm not a creative person.
Oh, and it gets more. I bake,
Right.
I craft, I do creative stuff all the time. But I don't lead with that. But that's totally where my joy is. So, but I think that's a conditioning thing. I think a lot of people grew up with creative is not an opportunity or a possibility or a way of living. Creative is something that ekes out, and it's like, look, you can do this. That's cute. Kind of a hobby
or like in the
skill.
spaces around, right? Like in the spaces
Right.
around
It's all in
your
the
productivity.
in-betweens. Yeah, like, oh, you made it extra special because now it looks pretty. I'm like, yeah, but that's so much about the experience, and life is what we experience. So yeah, reconciling that and being that would be really nice.
Yeah. I love that. I think that similarly, having all of that space and being able to notice where I am saying like, oh, I'm not creative, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or giving space for the things that bring us joy rather than just checking all the boxes. I am just so excited to lean more into that. And even just, my home and the way that we go about our normal, like I'm not a decorator. Like I don't know. I'm doing those things. But you, like, knowing all the stuff that you know about your home resets and everything, like even just changing the way that we set up and like being more intentional, and like we've just been creating spaces around that are still very practical, like whatever, but like having it more in tune with the seasons, having more things. And my daughter and I have been doing more creative things, and like just putting up our stuff around and our fairy lights and our whatever, and just having that like space and that light to be able to come in. And that I wouldn't think of like as a creative person, but I'm sitting there going, yeah, like these are things that we're doing to change the energy. And I saw a reel one time, and it said something about they were doing 30 days of doing something fabulous every day or something. So it could be like something that they did, or instead of just like showing up and like not really caring what they look like or not really whatever they're like. It doesn't have to be that I'm like dressed to the nines all the time or anything, but the way that I get my tea and like do it really intentionally or something, like creating these experiences. And it was kind of like the romanticizing your life, but it's just like, yeah, like we're not going anywhere this December right now, but I can like create a little environment, a little cozy cave, and I don't have control over all of these other things, but like we can bring a little bit of like whimsical and fabulousness to our everyday lives. And isn't that just so much more exciting to be in? And it just feels really good.
Amen. Magic. Did you have a card for us today?
I do. I have a card for us.
excited.
Yep. All right. So this one is happiness. We got some
Dolphins.
dolphins.
Oh my goodness.
In like a little painted sunset. And it's shimmering sunshine. Our sun is at the center of our solar system. Our planet and our lives revolve around its cycles of light and dark. Our inner and outer biological rhythms, as well as the rhythms of every animate and inert part of life, are ruled by this celestial force. In the far past, the sun has been thought of as a god. Traditionally, it has been associated with happiness, joy, hope, enlightenment, illumination, truth, cheer, warmth, and goodwill. Additionally, sunlight is an expansive force. When something is heating up by the light of the sun, it enlarges. Without the energy of the sun, things contract. The sun carries the deepest energies of expansion in life. So to receive this card is to know that you are expanding. Click your heels and shout for joy. The signs are with you. Let your light shine. Abounding good luck awaits you. A gateway is opening for even more joy and happiness. Your life is expanding. Opportunities are emerging. This is the time to go forward with glee. Love deeply and fully. Embrace life with open arms. Goodness is flowing to you. The only thing to be aware of is to monitor your expansion in a metered way. Too much, too fast can be overwhelming.
Amen. Goodness. What a fantastic way to start the year. Straight up.
The light's
happiness.
coming.
That's amazing. Wonderful. Well, do you have anything else you would like to add?
No. I am looking forward to 2026 and all that it will bring, and so thankful for all of the lessons and the time that I've had and our time together, Kay Margaret, this past year. So I just want to thank you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely reflected all back to you. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me on Intuitive Wisdom. If this episode brought you clarity or inspiration, please take a moment to leave a 5-star review. It truly helps others find this space. And if someone you love, you could use a shift in energy, share this episode with them. You never know what might resonate. For more, explore my frequency reset service, tune into more episodes, or begin the journey through my book, all at deliciousease.com. That's DELICIOUSEASE.com. All right, until next time, trust your energy, honor your space, and keep coming home to yourself.